It's not a stretch to say we are living in an era of political violence in this country. The question isn't whether it gets worse based on the evidence. That almost certainly seems to be the case. It's whether this country is going to do anything about it.
Traitor. That's what you are. You're a piece of traitor.
That's the voicemail left for Republican Congressman Fred Upton after he voted with a dozen other GOP lawmakers in the House for the bipartisan infrastructure bill. Upton received that threatening call after Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene appeared to incite some kind of backlash against her colleagues when she tweeted out the names and, yes, even the phone numbers of the 13 GOP House members who voted for the infrastructure bill. Not to be outdone, Republican Congressman Paul Gosar tweeted out an anime showing him killing Democratic Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and attacking President Biden. Gosar's own sister says her brother is out of control.
And this is something that I have to openly wonder. Does he have to act on it himself before we believe that he is he's a sociopath? Where is the accountability?
Where is the accountability? Indeed. The truth is, we have seen this movie before, not the creepy anime version, but the plot lines are familiar. Trump supporters have been churning out violent memes for years now. This one shows the then president massacring members of the news media. Ask some of our nation's top scientists, ask election officials, ask members of Congress, ask journalists. They'll tell you about all the death threats they've received for years now. But much of what they have experienced boils down to this. You cross Trump, you come into the crosshairs of some fringe characters on the far right, and they can open up the floodgates of hatred and intimidation on you. How many times does this need to happen before we all agree on what it is? Incitement. And the reason why it keeps happening is that there has been zero accountability for those who do the inciting. Zero. The end result is an incentive structure for political threats and violence in this country. As long as that incentive structure exists, it will keep happening. GOP leaders have made it all too clear they are not going to clean up their own house.
If you become speaker, will you be a different kind of speaker? That is, a speaker who doesn't go to war with conservatives, but a speaker who embraces them and wants to hear from them and wants to encourage them?
I believe that's the type of leader I am right now, that I know within this party we want to make sure that it's about addition, not subtraction.
No subtraction for Gosar, no subtraction for Marjorie Taylor Greene. But this goes way beyond Kevin McCarthy. It's been nearly 11 months since the insurrection. 11 months. The January 6th committee has been stymied by the refusal of Trump associates to cooperate with the investigation. But perhaps that stonewalling is coming to an end. Steve Bannon, who predicted, quote, all hell is going to break loose one day before the insurrection, has now been indicted. He is scheduled to appear in court on Monday. I'm not sure Bannon is going to mellow after this. Consider what Bannon said on his podcast the same day his indictment was announced.
Remember, there are no whining and no tears in the war room. We're taking action. And that action is we're taking over school boards, we're taking over the Republican Party through the precinct committee strategy, we're taking over all the elections. Suck on this.
We're taking over all the elections. The same day he's indicted. Still, Attorney General Merrick Garland is sending a signal to all of those Trump aides and advisors who are thumbing their nose at the committee. We'll see if Trump world goes from let's go Brandon to oh no Bannon. But it may take a lot more than a couple of orange jumpsuits to jumpstart this investigation. I have to say, it's kind of amazing that these Trump associates are stubbornly silent even as their dear leader is talking. He even defended those chants of hang Mike Pence on January 6th to ABC's Jonathan Karl.
You heard those chants. That was terrible. I mean, those,
He could have, well, the people were very angry.
I love the way Axios broke it all down for us. Put this up on screen. Former President Trump, in a taped interview with Jonathan Karl of ABC News that was shared with Axios, defended quite extensively supporters who threatened to hang former Vice President Mike Pence. Why it matters? Well, it is unprecedented for a former president to openly say it was okay to threaten the life of his vice president. Yeah, that matters. I mean, Axios could have written it this way. Former President Trump, in a taped interview, defends coup attempt. Why it matters? Because coups are bad. What's amazing is that Trump basically tweeted all of this back on January 6th. Put this up on screen. These are the things and events that happen when a sacred landslide election victory is so unceremoniously and viciously stripped away from great patriots who have been badly and unfairly treated for so long. As dishonest as Trump can be, he can be remarkably candid. Which begs the question, isn't it time for the Attorney General to target Trump? Ask him what he was doing pressuring those election officials and his own vice president to overturn the election results. You know he wants to talk. You know he wants to be put on that stand. Maybe he'll shed some tears in the hopes of swaying the jury. He seems to be saying he only acted in self-defense. Perhaps he'll get a judge whose ringtone sounds like a song from a Trump rally. Perhaps he'll tell an inappropriate joke, just so you know where he stands. If our system of justice cannot stop the likes of Trump from attacking our democracy through threats and intimidation like a mob boss, or even using outright violence, what's to stop it from happening again? This democracy is only as strong as the people willing to protect it, and if we don't protect it, we'll be letting it happen again. What's worse, storming the Capitol or letting them get away with it? Let's go, Department of Justice. We've been waiting on you.